So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second part of Introduction to NLP. And I'm glad that we are all here. More and more people are joining in. In fact, the participants are so many that we had to actually repeat this session. So we've already done one part of it. This one is the second part of the second session. This is a repeat right now. And all the new participants are here, I can see. So thank you so much being here. Let us recap what we studied in the last session, that was last Saturday. We talked about neurology, we talked about how learning happens. We talked about how learning is dependent on the information we are getting, and this information is dependent on our filters and how we perceive it. So even though we are getting all the information through our five senses as much as we can, yet our filters can be the inhibitors that do not let all the information pass or either delete or distort or generalize information, thereby not being able to create, not being able to give the reality. So some more people are joining in. Give me 2 minutes. Yes, we have more people coming in. So all those who were there in the last session, I would request you, all of you, to open your mics right now and let us discuss what you had learned in the last session, any points that you remember or any points that you want to ask. I would request all of you to maybe open your mics or write in the chat box, however, whatever medium suits you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Please let me know if there's anything you would like to know from the last session or anything specific you want to know in this particular session. So your views are welcome. You can write it down or speak.
Hi Ashish, I think your microphone is on mute. We can't hear anything what you're saying. This is Ria. Hi.
Hi, am I audible right now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Rinku has asked the question: what is the difference between NLP and CBT? So NLP and CBT are quite different in the way they work, yet can serve some similar applications. So when we are talking about CBT, we are talking about cognitive behavior therapy. And when we are talking about the behavior therapy, we are clear about it that it is a therapeutic intervention. It is a set of interventions that works on behaviors. It's a niche tool, set of tools which works. NLP, on the other hand, has much wider applications. NLP is the study of subjectivity of human beliefs and behaviors. We all understand that behaviors are not in black and white. They're not at this way or that way. They will always have a gray area in between. They'll always be subjective. Subjectivity is going to be there all the time. So NLP is the study of subjectivity. CBT focuses on behavior change primarily. NLP focuses on belief change resulting to behavior change. So NLP does not look at behaviors independently. According to NLP and according to the Robert Dirks model of logical levels, as we understand, behaviors are dependent on the skills or the capabilities one have on how one knows how to behave. So in order to understand behaviors, what are behaviors? Let us understand a very important point, that everything around you, everything that is around you, apart from you, people, things, events, they're all a part of your environment. Anything outside you is environment. The way we interact and respond with our environment is our behavior. Is that clear? What is behavior? It is the way we interact and respond to our environment. Now, according to NLP, our behavior is dependent on the ways we know how to behave. If a person knows how to behave angrily, he will behave angrily. If a person knows how to behave in 10 different ways, they can behave in 10 different ways. The skills or the capabilities of behavior are dependent upon the beliefs a person holds, beliefs and values. So when we are looking at beliefs and values, they finally impact the behavior. In NLP, when we are doing a therapy for behavior change, we would rather like to work on beliefs than behaviors directly. And we believe that when beliefs are tuned up, and when the person has a wider range of beliefs, his behaviors increase and he has more choice to choose what kind of behavior he wants. On the other hand, in CBT, we primarily work on behaviors directly. Rinku, does that answer your question somewhat? We can take this question in detail in another session when we talk CBT, right? Any other questions to start with? Thank you. Rinku says thank you. Any other questions that you have before we start today's topic? Good. I think we are good to start right now. So in order to start with the language part of NLP, let us first understand that as in part 1 we discussed that we have 5 senses, and these 5 senses are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory and gustatory. And in order to represent this to ourselves and the outer world, we use language to do so. For example, right now on your computer screens, you might be seeing something, you might be seeing my video being transmitted, you might be hearing what I'm saying, you might be feeling something. If your room is cold, you might be feeling cold at this point of time. And in order to represent this, the only way you can do is using language. So let me ask you a very simple question. What did you guys eat this morning? What did you guys eat this morning? You can put your answers in chat box or through microphone as you like it. Yeah, poha. So Drishti says, I had poha. And they have decent chila and sandwich and toast, so many things. Now, in order to tell me how it tasted and whatever you ate, you have only one way, language. There is no other way that you can represent the gustatory feeling you had. 5 senses, eating is related to the gustatory feeling mainly. It is also visual in so many cases. So when you ate these things, Shubham says eggs, what was the feeling you had? What was the emotion you felt? In order to represent that emotion, that feeling or that kinesthetic feeling, the tool we have is language. So any of the representation systems we talk about, for example, if I ask you, what was that one holiday that you really remember fondly? And as I ask this question, some of you are already thinking about what the holiday was. And this holiday could have been a visual appeal to you, could have been a kinesthetic appeal to you, could have had an auditory appeal to you, could have been a gustatory when you had great food there. could be olfactory with the great smells around that time. So the representation of any of these five senses will happen through a challenge called, through a tool called language. So Partha is asking in the chat box, what about sign and body language? Yes, Partha, sign language and body language are a part of our language. So language could be spoken, it could be gestures, it could be any signs you make, it could be a drawing, it could be written, so many forms. But the primary tool is language. So even when you say body language, you're making a gesture using your hand, kinesthetics, or a smile, kinesthetics. In order to represent any of the senses, we require language. So moving ahead from language is a very simplistic way to look at it. Each sense will have distinct languages, and we mix all of them to create a holistic picture. So I will have a little activity with you where I would request you to go into breakout rooms. I'll be making some breakout rooms for you guys. And in these breakout rooms, I would request you to talk to the person you are with in the breakout room about a holiday. Quickly, 2-3 minutes, just tell about the last holiday which you really enjoyed. And the second person will note what sensory language are you using. Are you using a lot of visual or auditory or kinesthetic or olfactory or gustatory? What kind of language are you talking, are you speaking when the other person is listening to you? Let us go into breakout rooms, and the topic is talking about my last holiday which I liked. So participants are now joining the breakout rooms. Please move into breakout rooms. Everyone who is in the main room can start discussing there also in the chat box. I see that some people are new to breakout rooms, so they're taking a little bit of a time. Vinay, the topic is to discuss about the last holiday you fondly remember. So everyone who is okay. So, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Right now, I hope you had some experience sharing in the breakout rooms. Uh, could some of you share the language you heard there? Please put on your mics and tell me who'd like to share this.
I would like to go first. Hello,
Sure.
Ashish.
Hi.
Yeah, my name is Malini, and I was there in the room with Pooja,
Hmm.
and both of us had similar taste of Kerala in our mouth, and
Okay.
the destination was also similar of our last
Wonderful.
holidays.
Wonderful. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. What a coincidence it was. She started to speak, and I
Yes.
realized that I am also going to speak about the same destination, food, and everything.
Wow. That's so wonderful. So, Malini, when she spoke about Kerala and her holiday in Kerala,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm sure she must be using some of the sensory language. Was her language more visual or auditory, or it's kind of mixed, or more gustatory, olfactory, kinesthetic? What was she
Uh, I
saying?
would say auditory.
Auditory.
Yeah.
So what were her sentences like? Can you tell me a little bit?
She would use the names of the places, the
Hmm.
beach.
The beach.
Yeah.
So if she would have said, I saw the beach and we went there and had this a beautiful beach,
Yeah.
then
Then it would be
it
more
would be a little
visual.
visual. If she's
Yeah.
saying the sound of the water was so pleasant,
Mm-hmm.
auditory. If you said, the air that was touching my skin was really making me come alive, kinesthetic. If you have said the smells were so wonderful there, I could just smell freshness there. So
Yeah.
we know olfactory. If you said the food was really so tasty and you could taste the
Mm-hmm.
food in your mouth, gustatory. So primarily we will use all of them, but at least one of them will come out prominently.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the prominent one in her case? What do you think?
Once you have explained it to me,
Hmm.
it was more visual and also kinesthetic, because when she was talking about the food, yeah,
Hmm.
it was self-explanatory that how much she enjoyed it, and she's also ready to take the special flight to that place to enjoy that food itself in that restaurant. So
Hmm. Wonderful, wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you, Malini. Thank you so much. Uh,
Okay.
Anybody else would like to share their experience?
Yes, can
Yes,
I say?
yes, please.
Yeah, so I was with Rinku, and she described her holiday to Georgia, and
Hmm.
I could see more of the visual language more, because she described that the place was very beautiful and it was very
Hmm.
green, and
Hmm.
like she even described about the food, like how they used walnuts and everything, and the pomegranate juice which she had. But even there, she referred to, like, it was so red,
Hmm.
so it was more like inclined towards visual. And
Yes.
apart from this, she emphasized on the weather, which I think is kinesthetic, like
Hmm.
how cold, windy, and cool the weather was there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's so good. So you could actually make sense of what language was the other person speaking. Thank you, Drishti, so much.
Thank
Anybody else, please? Somebody would like to share their experience?
Yeah,
Sure,
hi,
Ashish.
Ashish, this is Kuldeep.
Yes, Kuldeep.
Yeah, so I was just checking if you are hearing me.
Yes. I am very much
So I
clear.
was with Jatin Valia, and he spoke about his, a memorable holiday in Europe and Switzerland, and
Hmm.
back in India also to Rajasthan and Gujarat. So some of the words that he used was, the scenic beauty, roads, the
Hmm.
environment, location,
Hmm.
and he also talked about the people, the way they interacted and behaved, and he liked that the most. So these are the
Oh,
things. The prominent thing that I observed was more again visuals uh,
wonderful.
during that discussion. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kuldeep. Thank you so much. Uh, Now, anyone else would like to share their experience here? Okay. So I guess most of you understood the basics, and this was only the first trial. Now we will step up a little bit. We will step up the game because it is not only important to be able to calibrate the language, but in order to create rapport, it is important to understand the prominent representation system. So when we are talking these five senses in the language NLP, we call them the representation systems. So five rep systems: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. It is not only important to calibrate that whether I'm hearing is visual or auditory or kinesthetic or olfactory or gustatory. The art is to be able to speak in that representation system of the person you are talking to, whether you're coaching or training or being in a friendly conversation with somebody. So if I'm talking to somebody, my first job would be to calibrate their representation system and then step into that representation and describe the things that way. So now we will be going into the second part of the same activity. I'll be making the breakout rooms again. And this time, the activity will be more directed. Earlier, it was an open experience. This is going to be a directed activity. The directed activity is that you will talk about an experience. And I'm going to tell you what the experience is. It is going to be the same holiday you guys talked about. But this time, you will explain it to your partner only in auditory terms. So we are now restricting you to use only auditory. It is very easy to explain visually when you go for a holiday. But the skill development is towards when you're able to explain the things, when you're able to express things in all five representation systems. So your first attempt in this breakout room for the next 5 minutes is to share about the same holiday or any holiday you like, but in auditory sense. For example, let me give you a little example, 2-3 sentences. I would say, when I went to Shimla, I heard the air telling me something. It was musical all around. So when I'm explaining like this, I'm using auditory. Initially, it could be a little tough, but within 2-3 sentences, you're going to be fluid. So let us go to the breakout rooms and share our experience into the auditory representation system. Thank you. Starting the breakout rooms now. Welcome back, Rinki, Drishti, Ankush. Uh, so some of the people are still in the breakout rooms. They are completing their activity. We have about 1.5 minutes more for the breakout rooms. So after that, we'll close the breakout rooms and everybody will come in the main room. So we're closing all the rooms and everybody is now ready to come back within 1 minute to the main room. Another 30 seconds. So guys, welcome back after the second part of the activity. I would like to know how was your attempt to use the auditory representation system in your language. Anyone, please tell me your experience, share your experience.
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I was with Drishti in the room, and well, she described about how her trip in Singapore, she entered a lot of, I mean, when there was a lot of music, which kind of soothed her in the bars and the pubs. And even when she went to, it was not noisy. And when she went to Disneyland Adventure, how the rides of the sounds actually kicked back her senses, and she kind of went back to her childhood days. So that was like
wonderful. And could you also narrate your experience in auditory? Or it was just
yes,
one way?
I did. I expressed myself as to how my trip to Georgia, how the airport was very calm, how the city was like, the sellers were trying to sell a lot of things. So there was a lot of chatter in the market, and how the wind was howling against the doors. And even our trip to the seashore was how the waves were lashing at the beach, and how that's a very calming effect on me. So
wonderful.
I guess,
wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Someone else would like to share their auditory representation system experience and how they experience this? Anyone else, please?
Okay, I'll share.
Yes, please.
So Neha had shared her experience of the trip to a place near Dharamshala, and she was able to bring in a lot of sound effects and was pretty good there. I found it very difficult because I am more a visual person.
Yeah.
So to convert visuals into sound became somewhat of a challenge.
Yes. In fact, Ajay, this is the challenge we are typically talking about here, which is most important, and excellent that you mentioned it. Most people are not even aware that this challenge comes in. And we guys as coaches, we must understand if a client is talking in a representation system, his mind represents information in that system. So once we nurture and develop our skill of reflecting our thoughts, expressing in our client's representation system, it's like a free flowing channel. Let me give you another example from my experience in relationship coaching. Often I meet couples and the husband would come in and say, when I come back home, I don't feel good at all. I don't feel relaxed. I'm feeling really nervous. I feel tired. So his representation system at this point of time is kinesthetic. He's talking about the body feeling. The wife says, I've kept the house so beautiful. There's such wonderful food to eat. I don't know why he doesn't feel happy about it. So she is talking about visual and gustatory. This representation system mismatch can spoil perfect relationships. So once we gather the skill of matching the representation system, believe me, you've got an entry into other person's mind immediately, and then we do the other things. So I hope that makes a little bit of a sense when you experience this.
Yes.
What do you say, Ajay?
Yes. Yes.
So it is a skill worth nurturing to be able to express ourselves in a particular representation systems. Way back about 13, 14 years ago, when I was learning NLP, my coach used to give me an exercise. He would say, go and sit on a railway station and close your eyes and just hear all the sounds after closing it and come back and narrate what have you heard. On the other day, go to the railway station, plug your ears and just see everything and come back and narrate what you've seen. So these are two. So if we see through one sense, there's a different experience, and we see through another sense, there's a different experience. We are used to having a holistic experience, but each channel is important. So, any other expressions? Anybody else who would like to express what they heard in the auditory narration? Or any questions for this?
I have a question. This is Neha and Rohit Shenoy together. Ashish ji, so because each one of us has a preference, right? So sometimes what happens with me is, particularly I'm a visual person and I don't focus so much on, for example, auditory. And I may speak fast or I may speak at a tone which is maybe loud, because I myself am not very particular about it. So meko lagta hai, theek hai, bolna hai, bol do. It's about how the action is unfolding visually, right? So how do I, as a person who's coaching someone or working with someone who's auditory, how do I change my, how do I become more sensitive and change my style?
I think this is going to be useful for everybody. Thank you for this question. So when we're talking about auditory, then we go into the parameters of auditory, which in one of the sessions we'll talk about the submodalities. And Neha has just mentioned about a parameter called the tone. So auditory will have parameters like volume, like tone, like speed, like frequency. All these are multiple parameters. In NLP, we call them submodalities. So when Neha talks about a particular tone, कि जो बोलना है बोल दो. But in coaching, or especially in relationships, that kind of creates a little bit of a challenge sometimes, because the idea is not just to tell. The idea is to know whether the other person has understood. Let me step back from here and go to the very basics of NLP. And there is a presupposition, there's a belief of excellence there, which says that every communication will be complete according to the response, which means response is important. So if a communication, if two people are communicating, two people are talking, A is talking to B, and if A says something and B understands something else, then the communication, the meaning of communication is what B has understood. The meaning of communication is the response you get. We will take a step further and explain this, that in order to have a successful communication or a conversation, you must design your conversation in real time. It's a skill, which means that if I am to talk, I am talking to somebody, I must know the response I want. And am I designing my communication accordingly? So when Neha says ki, I just speak what I have to speak, maybe Neha will get a much better result if she knows the result she wants and then how the other person is going to process it. So she will design the communication in that particular way. Now, be it your email communication or spoken verbal communication or drawings or paintings, if we are mindful of the response we want, we can always design the communication. I'll bring this back to the tone which Neha mentioned. So now, if my client is speaking slow, me as a coach will start speaking slow, but not sound as if I'm mimicking. And if my client is really speaking fast, I will speed up and speak fast. If my client is talking in a sing-song language, so would I. And this naturally happens. When you go out in the marketplace or somewhere, you see how people are talking and you adjust to their accents. This is a natural trait. We can be more mindful and nurture the skill within ourselves so that we get the response we want. So Neha, as I understand, was the older way when you would speak what you would speak not getting you the desired results?
In some cases, yes. And that's why I'm asking, how do I flex my style?
Yes. So the answer is simple. It's called practice. So let us practice. So Neha and I can practice it right now here. Neha, would you like to practice it for 2 minutes with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Neha, now I will speak something and you will reply to me in the tone I am speaking to, right?
Okay.
And I will keep changing my tone.
Okay.
So Neha, what's your name?
My name is Neha.
And Neha, where do you stay?
I stay in Gurgaon.
Yeah. And Neha, what do you really like to eat?
I am not a foodie.
And being a foodie is not fun. So what would you like to do instead of eating?
I would like to watch a movie.
Right, good. So now within 3 sentences, you have been able to catch my tone and repeat it. Now,
Right.
Now is Rohit also there in the window? Is he sitting with you? So can both of you get into a dialogue like that for 2 minutes? So Rohit, you say something and let Neha catch your tone and reply you in that tone.
Okay. So Neha, aren't Ashish's sessions really a lot of food for thought?
Yes, lots and lots of food for thought. Very insightful. Great to attend.
I really look forward to them, each one of these sessions. And he did one for some of the people in our company, including family, and that was superb. Very well received.
That's fantastic.
So Neha, so now Neha, you are using Rohit's tone. And do you feel a little more connection while talking like this?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question.
Okay, so when we talk like this, there's a little closer connection. In NLP, we use the term rapport here. The
Right.
rapport is stronger.
Right.
So in order to do either sales or training or talking to our employees or anybody, if you're able to create rapport, and rapport can be created in many, many ways. There are dozens and dozens of ways to create rapport. Tonal marking is one of the ways. When we mark somebody's tone is one of the ways. Now, when we are using the same tone, the other person feels a similarity there. We create that there. Tone is just one example. And I will go back to representation systems and go back to what we were talking, that when...
I have a question before you proceed. Kamal here.
Yes, Kamal.
So in this conversation of Rohit and Neha, is it just the tone or is it also the choice of words? because
Yes.
I felt
Yes.
that was also sort of mirroring each other. He
Yes.
said it was superb, and she says, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yes. So the more we
The
mirror,
decibels of the words were also
yes,
very high.
absolutely wonderful calibration, Kamal. Wonderful calibration.
Ashish, also,
Yes,
Ashish, sorry.
Jatin.
Also, just to add, is it the body language as well that makes a difference? Because you're sitting right in
Absolutely.
front of each other.
Yes.
So your intonation, your body language.
Yes, a lot of it. So when we go to kinesthetic, the language of kinesthetics, then it's all about body language there. It's all about body. So visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, 5 rep systems, and we mirror all of them as much as possible. So, and it should never look artificial. You must be an artist at it. Being an artist is what it is all about. Does that answer your question, Jatin? Hello.
That's right. So idea is not to mimic anybody, but
but to gently flow
just
into
to
it.
express yourself. Yeah.
See, let me give you an example here. Think of a guy who is standing on a hill and making a painting there. Now, when he's making a painting, he's naturally doing it. He's not trying to mimic the mountains out there. It comes out naturally to him. So because he's so skilled at it, different people with different levels of skill will make the painting of that mountain. But a true artist is who's closer, and still we know it's a painting. So in our language, we become linguistic artists. In NLP, I would always call NLP an art because it's so much skill dependent. The more you practice, the more fluid you are. It's about that skill all the time. Coming back to auditory again, and as Kamal was saying, words are important. And let me share a little statement with you. Kamal said that when he used the word superb, he used the word fantastic. Now that's wonderful. That's just too good. And this is what we call paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is important. Yet, if you can artistically parrot-phrase instead of paraphrase. If you pick up the same words and use them artistically in your language, instead of using synonyms, that too is going to be great. So parrot-phrase instead of paraphrase. It's going to really strengthen the rapport out there. So any other examples in the auditory is expressing anything which you wanted to share?
Hi Ashish, this is Riya. I actually have a question.
Sure, Riya.
So let's say one of my, in the past there have been some managers who would adopt some of these techniques, mirror or utilize the same language. But somewhere in some cases, I would feel a little mistrusting because I can see through it. So what happens then?
Yes, this is a very, very important question. And believe me, in the beginning of my career, I've done those mistakes.
Okay.
Many of us would. As I said, and I'll repeat, it is an art. And the more skilled you are, the less anybody. Also, this is not the only technique. You have to sandwich it. How it works is that in the beginning of a conversation, we set a frame of conversation. When we set a frame of conversation, then we talk about the goal of conversation, the response we want. And when we talk about the response we want, then we come back and use this only for a few seconds or a few minutes, and then quickly move on to the topic. We do not stay there. This mirroring, rapport through mirroring is a portal. You don't stay there. You just cross it smoothly, artistically. So if the person stays there longer, chances are he's going to get caught. And you are good at catching the manager out there. Right, Riya?
Absolutely. So I think one of the things that I would probably want to follow would be to kind of practice it with other people around me. And then when I'm on a coaching conversation, not to consciously try to do that. Let it just be natural. Would that make sense?
Yes, exactly. Practice is so important, and all the coaches all the coaches that I have been working with and I've taught, we have these practice sessions on a monthly basis. Sometimes like these days, we're having it twice a month now. So everybody who goes through these NLP and coaching courses with me, there is a 2-year program support where every month we have practice sessions online and offline. And practice is what makes you an artist. So I think it is a good idea to have your friends, other coaches, people in this group. They can make their peer groups and say, okay, we'll dedicate 2 hours or 3 hours a week only for practicing language or other skills as you might like it. So practice is the key. See, it's like this. Suppose you are a dancer, you're a fabulous dancer. So when you're practicing, you go and practice. But when you go to perform, then you don't practice. You only perform what you have already practiced. So in a coaching conversation, you are a performer there. You are not practicing there. Practicing is much before that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
absolutely agree. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Right. Any other questions or topics you'd like to discuss? So I think this was a good practice for all of us. We practiced how to use the auditory representation system in language. Now I see that it is showing me a time that we are a little beyond time. Yet I have a little topic which is to be introduced right now. I hope not many of you are getting late. Can I continue for another 10 minutes? Is that okay for you?
For me, yes, please.
Yeah, perfect. So
Yes,
there is a third activity which we'll be doing in the breakout rooms right now. The third part of the same activity, which is the final activity for today. It will be for 5 minutes only. And this time you're going to share an experience in kinesthetics, in the word of feelings, like what they are called the tactile feelings, which is what I feel on my body. Like I feel cool, hot, rough, smooth, touching, all these expressions and many more like this. So we will express the same holiday or another holiday in the breakout rooms to a partner in the language of kinesthetics, in the kinesthetic representation system. So we are starting the breakout rooms. 5 minutes later, we'll all come back and then add again. So people are coming back from the rooms, and good. Everybody's back. So guys, welcome back from the breakout rooms. Quickly, I'd like to know, some of you can share, how was the kinesthetic representation system in language expressions? Anyone please?
Ashish, this is Pooja here.
Yes, Pooja.
I think it came very naturally to me. The auditory wasn't so natural because I think I am a kinesthetic and a visual person.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
it came very, very easily. I could remember incidents which made me feel euphoric. I could remember incidents which, when I was talking in the auditory way or the other way, visual, whatever, I wasn't recalling these incidents. But when you said kinesthetic, automatically I was recalling so many things which had feelings attached, and this was scary, and this was euphoric, and the generosity of the people and the kindness. I think it just, all those emotions came very naturally. And
Wonderful, wonderful. And so Pooja, when you felt this, so when we talk about emotions, there are two kinds of things. One is an emotional feeling, the other is a kinesthetic feeling. They're very closely related because kinesthetics express emotions. All emotions are expressed through our body. All emotions, when you feel, they will always be expressed through our body only. There is no other way to express them. So, and then later we convert them into language and share it with others. But first, all emotions are felt in the body. So, excellent, Pooja. Thank you so much. Anyone again can express? Ajay, Mamta, how are your experiences?
Okay, I'll go next. We were all talking about our prior experiences. Neha and Ashish were talking, Ajay were talking about their prior experiences where they were able to beautifully explain, how they felt through the vacation that they had. And I couldn't relate to the last vacation experience that I'd shared. So I kind of changed it because I could relate at the feeling level more to, the new experiences that I shared of either scuba diving or of, the experience where it was at the Niagara Falls. So I kind of changed that experience to where I could relate to it more. But the other two were sharing their feelings related to the experience of the vacation that they had shared prior.
Wow, wonderful. So so one thing what we all understand here is that we are able to, one, become aware and differentiate.
Right.
Clearly, when we are able to representing and others are representing, what representation system are they using? And what is their prominent representation system? Now, another small thing here, that in some of the books and some of the old, it is said that everybody will have one prominent system, representation system. But in my experience, what I've realized is, as per the situations and stress levels, this can change also. A person whose prominent system at some point in time is visual, when the person is under physical pain, for that time, kinesthetic can come up. So it is contextual. Situations can change how we represent things. Who else would like to share how they expressed the kinesthetic language? Ajay, Rohit, Babita, Punita, Rinku.
Okay, so I can go ahead.
Sure, Ajay.
So kinesthetic, I thought, was, if I compare it to the converting my experience to auditory, I found kinesthetic was easier than the auditory.
Okay. Wonderful.
Wasn't very difficult, but yes, I had to be conscious of using certain words so that it was converted to kinesthetic.
Okay. And what kind of words did you use there?
So I used feeling. I used sense. I could sense it. I used that I felt the water crawl down the face.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful expression. So I think this awareness itself that we are talking in multiple representation systems, and we hear that, and when we can also use this to create rapport, this itself is a wonderful learning in itself. And these are little learnings. When we talk about NLP, language is a big field. Like when I teach NLP for let's say 5 days or 7 days or 15 days program, whenever I do, 70% of it is language. And this is just the beginning. In the language, then we go to the meta model and the Milton model. If some of you have attended the Milton model seminars 2 months ago, we had talked a lot about the influential language there. We had a lot of examples there. And sometime in the near future, we'll do something on meta model also. So language is a huge topic. And language is what is our relation to anything else in the world. We connect with the world through our language. Our senses are internal. The way they link to any experience is our language. So I think this awareness is going to help all of us. What do you guys say? What do you feel? Yes.
For myself, I would say, I have now got a different perspective to have discussions with visionary and how they're talking, what is it they have, they'll be more focused with that and
Yes. I think, Jatin, we are losing you on the auditory right now, but I get the gist of what you're saying, that we are going to be more aware of the representation systems we are talking about. So I hope today's session was useful to you in some ways. I hope you had liked a few things in that. Do let me know what you like. Do let me know what all other things I can share with you in the coming sessions. Thank you, Pooja. Rinku had asked a question, which was like, when you don't like somebody's tone, is it possible to change the tone of a person? The answer is yes. The process called pacing and leading, and this together is called rapport building. When we do the NLP practitioner program, the quick start program, we will be undergoing that process and practically seeing how we change the tone of a person who's talking to us. A small example we saw in Rohit and Neha's conversation today, but there's much more to it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming. Looking forward to another great session in the coming days. I will announce a new date for the third part of Introduction to NLP, and then we can all be there. Of course, Quick Start NLP is coming in July, and in October, the practitioner program is coming up. I would like to see you all there. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you
Thank you, Ashish.
so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.